Good morning to you, Grenada, Carrier, pretty much like the rest of the world. How are we this morning? How are you doing this morning? I do hope that you have yourself a great day ahead. Yeah, I hope you woke up feeling all right. And as Bishop Fletcher always says, if you're not feeling all right, you're still not doing too bad, all right? Good morning, Bishop and the family. How are you? Hope you all are doing fine. Well, of course, let's get on the way with what we usually do at this time in mornings. And we are going to give you, I'm going to give you a word to increase your and improve your vocabulary. And this morning, the word that we are looking at is bespoke. Bespoke. It is spelled B-E-S-P-O-K-E. Bespoke. And what it means, it is a synonym of custom-made and is used to describe anything made to an individual's desired specification. I'm going to take that again. Bespoke is a synonym of custom-made and is used to describe anything made to an individual's desired specification. Now let's see how it can be used. Now, while factory-made furniture is almost always less expensive, nothing beats the charm of a bespoke, hand-carved chair or table. Yeah. All right, so the word for the day, bespoke. And it's a synonym. All right. It is a synonym of custom-made and is used to describe anything made to an individual's desired specifications. Can be used in a sentence in this manner. While factory-made furniture is almost less expensive, almost always less expensive, nothing, absolutely nothing beats the charm of a bespoke, hand-carved chair or table. That's the word for the day. And let's take a peek at the thought for the day. I love this one. Hey folks, I'm going to give you the time. It's 25 minutes until 7. The thought for the day. Hope you're having a wonderful day thus far, yeah? Yeah, hope you are. It's important to set the day right. Remember to have your breakfast, have some fruit and so forth in the morning, you know, and enhance your diet. You'll reap the benefits later on in life, yeah? So the thought for the day. When you talk, you are only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. I'll repeat this. When you talk, you are only repeating what you already know. However, if you listen, you may learn something new. Yeah. You gotta learn something new. Yeah, so, and as a matter of fact, there's another way of putting it, you know. The wiser folks, I don't call them the older folks anymore, the wiser folks, they would tell you the reason why you were given 2 ears and 1 mouth is because you're supposed to listen more than you talk. Yeah, there's another one that says a still tongue keeps a wise head. So many different ways of saying hush and listen some more. Some folks, their mouth runs, man. All right, I'm going to give you the riddle for the day. Let me see how good you are, man. I find, you all are getting my riddles so early. What day within a week of today that does not end with a Y? What day of the week within a week that does not end with a Y? Tell me. 435-2041. That's the number you call. 23 minutes onto the off 7. And of course, we've got a caller on the line already. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I'm just guessing this morning, yeah?
You're guessing?
Yes, no.
You sure?
Yes. No?
No. Well, I would tell you something. You see, right now, you're wrong. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye. Yeah. I thought I would have caught you this morning, yeah? What day within a week of today that does not end with a Y? Tell me. 435-2041. That's the number. Let me see you. Let me hear you. Let's go back to the telephone line. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great.
And where are you calling from?
You know where I'm calling from.
All right, okay. I catch your voice.
George is here.
Yeah, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
I'm doing fine, too.
The answer is tomorrow.
You say that affirmatively?
Oh, of course.
Ah.
There is no if or but or maybe.
No if, tomorrow. No buts, no maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. You're correct. The answer is tomorrow. How are you doing, Papi?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Yeah, I could hear it in your voice.
I'm on the road and I'm going to my garden to do some little
I'm on the road jogging?
Oh, yes.
Ah.
Oh, yes. So I'm doing fine.
Keeping fit, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
God's grace, yeah.
All right. Well, have a good one and thanks for calling.
And the same to you.
God bless. Yeah, bye-bye.
Amen. Good.
Morning, Mr. Bernard. How are you doing? Yeah, great guy. Yeah, the answer is definitely tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't end with a Y. It ends with a W. Thought I would have caught you with this one. It's 22 minutes onto the half 7 o'clock. And let me tell you what's happening. Well, of course, today I'll be having a gentleman in the studio with me. Not in the studio, we'll have a Zoom link up as we talk of the Eastern Caribbean Security Exchange. We'll get some more information on that. That will take up some time on the flip side of 7. Also want to remind you that on the 26th of October, we've got Hot in the City. Yeah. Hot in the City. Look forward to that. All right, meet and greet all Hot FM DJs and deals and specials by our partners, giveaways and so much more. That happens from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Esplanade Mall Courtyard in downtown St. George's. Yeah, look out for that. All right, what's buzzing this morning? Also, we hear that the film festival shifts to St. Andrew. The film festival. Good morning, Uncle Trevor. Can't pronounce that word good at all. He says flim. Auntie Elsa, good morning to you also. All right, going back to the roots of Malcolm X. The life of Malcolm X will be featured in this year's film festival. Some of the bigger names in the film will be in Grenada for the 1261 Grenada Film Festival. So, if time permits, we're gonna have the, have some conversation, engage some conversation on that this morning. Also, as part of fulfilling another of its campaign promises, the government of the National Democratic Congress has established a minimum wage board to review wages in Grenada and pave the way forward in addressing issues that hinder improvements in the standard of living in Grenada. Yeah, that should have been done as soon as yesterday, boy. When you look at the price of goods on the shelf. And although we had a little drop in the price of fuel at the pumps, but it's still exorbitant. As Oliver Samuel would have said, it's astrological. All right, Anderson Peters' coach, his athletic coach, Paul Phillips, says he expects a great athletic year for the champion in 2023, despite hiccups in 2022. Let's see if we get a chance to talk about that. And of course, by now you would have known that Grenada's new centenarian is none other than Mrs. Muriel Mitchell, the mother of former Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. Yeah. All right, she celebrated her birthday over the weekend, in which a special church service was held for her to celebrate her milestone, 100 years. I wish some of the guys from the West Indies cricket team could take a page from your book, man. They're making 10, much less for 100. All right, the government to review and implement national food and nutrition policies in 2023, as well as review climate smart initiatives. So these are some of the things that we will be looking at this morning. All right, these and more. If that's, we'll try and make the time. We shouldn't be too very lengthy with the gentleman this morning. He should be joining us right after the news and the weather. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we've done this morning. The word for the day is bespoke, and it is a synonym of custom made and is used to describe anything made to an individual's desired specifications. That was the word for the day, bespoke. The thought for the day was, when you talk, you are only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. Listen more, talk less. That's what it's saying. Nice. And the riddle for the day, the word, the day of the week that doesn't end with a Y. So we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But there's a day in the week that doesn't end with the letter Y. And that's tomorrow. All right, folks, we take a break. We break from this segment and we head into the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather. And on the flip side of 7, we'll have a conversation. Those of you on the social media platforms, stay locked. On TV, we've got the repeat broadcast of last evening's GBN television news. And for us here on Classic 105.5 and 105.9, we've got the AM edition of news for today. It's Tuesday, the 18th day of October. See you on the flip side.
Solar lights are back in stock and will be available for purchase at Southern Electrical. Here is a list of the solar lights that we offer. 200 to 300 watt intelligent floodlights with camera, 300 to 500 watt solar street lights, 60, 100, 200 and 500 RGB solar floodlights, 100, 200, 300, 500 and 800 solar floodlights, solar garden lights, 25, 40, 60, 100 and 200 watt solar floodlights, 3, 7 and 10 watt solar wall lights, motion center garden lights, motion sensor floodlights, 30, 60 and 90 watt solar street lights with accessories, 5 watt solar wall lamps, 40 and 60 solar street lights, and 100 and 300 solar floodlights with battery power display. Now available at Southern Electrical, Dusty Highway, St. George. Visit our showroom today.
You've asked for it, and now it's here. The NLA announces its new mid-morning draw, commencing September 30th at 9:45 a.m. Yes, you heard right. Draws for Pick 3, Cash 4, and Playway will now be conducted 3 times daily at 9:45 a.m., 12:45 p.m., and 7:45 p.m., Monday to Friday. The Saturday draws remains twice daily. And that's not all. Simply place your non-winning Cash 4, Pick 3, and Playway tickets valued at least $10 from a single purchase in the NLA branded box at your favorite sales location. 4 chances to win 10 prizes of $1,000 each. Whoa! $10,000 is up for winnings. Compliments the NLA. Be sure to write your name, address, and contact info on your entries before submitting. Promotion runs from September 30th to October 28th and would be drawn on Friday, November 4th, 2022. NLA, making your dreams a reality while supporting sports, culture, and nation building. Must be 18 or older to participate. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Anderson Peters athletics coach Paul Phillips says he expects a great athletic year for the champion in 2023, despite some hiccups in 2022. Rena Pierre-Thomas has this story.
Athletic coach Paul Phillips says he is optimistic that the next athletic year for Anderson Peters will be even better than this year. He says Peters' achievement in 2022 was great as the athlete set a new North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association record and won a silver medal at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England. The coach says the goal for 2023 is for the athlete to make his mark in the Diamond Leagues game, which he missed this year.
Going forward, coming from a season like he had this year, which I say it was a dream season. We are going into next season with a similar plan. And the only thing that we don't have next year is the Commonwealth Games. but he has another world championship, and now he'll be the two-time defending champion. So the major goal this season is to have him return and defend his title as world champion, and try to accomplish the Diamond League champion as well.
Grenada's javelin champion was unable to compete in his last two games in the Diamond League due to injuries sustained during his altercation with the crew members aboard Harbour Master on August 10th. Coach Phillips says they are yet to determine if the athlete has fully overcome his injuries.
He's doing well as a person. I think his body is healed to a certain degree, and mentally he's healed a little bit. What I can't say with any certainty now is how well his body is holding up as an athlete. Doing the javelin requires a lot of high speed muscle movement, and I don't know for certain until we start to train, because he's still on vacation, how his body would have held up. So we still need to assess that. Once he starts to train, we will be able to give a better picture of how well he has recovered.
Anderson Peters is also among the athletes shortlisted by the World Athletic Male Athlete of the Year Award. The two-time world champion is the only male representing a Caribbean country to be nominated. Grenada's javelin champion moved up to 5th on the javelin all-time list after he threw 93.7 meters to set a new North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association record. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
As part of fulfilling another of its campaign promises, the government of the National Democratic Congress has established a minimum wage board to review wages in Grenada and pave the way forward in addressing issues that hinder improvements in the standard of living in Grenada. More in this report from Rena Pierre-Thomas.
Economist Colin Gilchrist will chair government's Wage Advisory Committee in an attempt to address the issue of minimum wage. The other members of the committee are members of the Labour Movement: Justin Campbell, Celie Brown, Brian Grimes, Trevor Xavier, George Mason, Cicely Gabriel, Anne-Marie Montrose, Janine Vieweg, and Lyden Lewis. Legal Affairs and Labour Minister Claudette Joseph said government is committed to reviewing and finding a solution to the issue of minimum wage, especially within the public service, to address an issue ignored for over 10 years.
Greater economic independence of all peoples, opportunities for wealth creation, that goes for employer and employees, and so and a better standard of living for all. We would want to become a nation where the people who are classified as poor still enjoy a decent quality of life with a decent roof over their head and the ability to comfortably meet their expenses, their living expenses as they fall due, to comfortably have their children educated.
Minister Joseph met with members of the committee last Wednesday. The committee is expected to work closely with the Labour Movement to create a culture of independence and eliminate poverty.
Review and make recommendations for the adjustment in the minimum wage payable to workers in the stated category in the orders. But I would like to expand that to include, to have your mandate include giving advice on whether the minimum wages order itself should be updated to embrace other categories of workers, and also any other recommendations that can be made to help in this regard with the relationship between worker and employer.
The development of the committee is yet another of the new government campaign promise to improve the lives of Grenadians. For GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
Going back to the roots of Malcolm X, the life of Malcolm X will be featured in this year's film festival. And some of the bigger names in film will be in Grenada for the 1261 Grenada Film Festival.
Grenada Film Festival returns and is moving into the community of Ladigue, St. Andrew, the birthplace of Malcolm X's mother. This year marks the 4th year of the festival, however the first since the COVID-19 pandemic. Shida Phillip, founder and creative director for the 1261 Grenada Film Festival, says they are excited to be back. Part of the initiative, she says, is to bring cinema into the rural community, something they embarked on since 2019. The screening of Malcolm X, Philip says, is free for the community and will be tied in with cultural performances from individuals and local groups. She described it as bridging the gap between entertainment, education, and bridging cultures.
The festival is broken up into 2 different segments. The first 3 days, we are stationed in St. Andrews with the screening of Malcolm X film, which is going to be co-presented by our international partner, Just Media. We're thrilled about that because to be kicking off such an impactful festival here and in a community that pay homage to Louis Little, Malcolm X's mom, we are honored. And
the creative director explains a bit more about the festival.
We have partnered with the community in Ladigue and Hidden Treasures, which is led by Mr. Simon Green. He's going to start off with a historical tour of the community, of the Ladigue community, tying into different elements. We are going to be visiting the school, so individuals within the space and the exterior communities would be able to see certain historical imprints that is there in the Ladigue session, and then they can talk about all of the different developments that they are looking to do in that community.
Some of the big names in film also will be on island as part of the festival.
To that, for the first time in the history of the festival, we are having a designated Grenada night, and by that I mean we are having a red carpet event or reception to celebrate several different filmmakers from Grenada, locally here, and the diaspora who will be presenting their films. After the first 3 days, we are now moving to St. George's, where we are having the Saturday, an international night. This is also a first of the festival because we have invited several different actresses, international actresses. The director of the film is going to be here. So we have Choma, who is a Nigerian actress. She will be present. Miss Lisa Ray McCoy from LA, she will be here as well. And Michael, he is the director of the film that we are featuring that night, is going to be in our presence that night.
Tahira Vivek, assistant planner for the festival, says as the director of a dance group, she sees this as an opportunity for them to learn something new. She hopes this can be transcended to schools as well.
Also, we are inviting the schools, to bring the children out, and not just a school in St. Andrew, but we're hoping that the Ministry of Education can see that as a learning experience, so the schools outside of St. Andrew can use it as a field trip. Then there's a spin-off. When the children get back to the classroom, you look at it in language, you look at it in history, you look at it in art.
The festival concludes with a beach line and the screening of a Caribbean film. Here's how you can be part of this event.
People who are interested in learning more about the festival, we are our website is up. It's 1261 Film Festival. It is the same thing on social handles, from Instagram to LinkedIn to Twitter and Facebook. All of the details are there. For tickets, we are selling our tickets online on our website and or GoToFet. So,
Christina John, GBN News.
Grenada's newest centenarian is none other than Mrs. Muriel Mitchell, mother of former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell. She celebrated her birthday over the weekend, in which a special church service was held for her to celebrate her milestone. More from Rena Pierre-Thomas.
Mrs. Muriel Mitchell, mother of opposition leader and former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, celebrated her 100th birthday on October 16th, making her Grenada's newest centenarian. A church service was held in her honor at the Happy Hill Catholic Church on Sunday to mark her great milestone. In speaking to GBN, Mrs. Mitchell, who is strong and vibrant, told her secret to reaching her milestone.
The secret is love and patience. Love people. I can't get hungry for long. No. How to respect the old people and love one another, the youths themselves. Love one another and have patience with each other. I have a few by me and they don't fight, they don't think. I just give them breakfast, I just give them. I help them because they behave good. So, they love, unite with each other. That's all I tell them.
The elderly woman was described as God-fearing, kind-hearted, and a humble woman. Many friends and family members gathered to celebrate Mrs. Mitchell's accomplishment, including former government ministers under the new National Party administration. They all gathered to lay a special blessing through prayer, as well as singing and special dance. Here is a short clip of the church ceremony.
You, Lord.
And for her, she loved flowers. For her, she epitomized live church, build community, serve country.
Catholic Bishop Clyde Harvey headed the sermon in honor of Mrs. Mitchell, and I liked it, the lesson of
today is about continual prayer. The very first verse of the gospel reading, Jesus told his disciples a parable about the need to pray continually and never lose heart. It's a parable, and Jesus could have chosen any example he wanted to show us that. Something that comes to all of us if we live long enough. I'm convinced of that. Some people like to believe that they achieve their lives in all kinds of different ways. And some people are very quick about fighting to get what they want. But when he wants to give us an example of that, he chooses the story of a widow. And today we come to celebrate the 100th birthday of a widow.
A grand birthday party was held in honor of Mrs. Mitchell on Saturday, October 15th. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Total is one of the world's largest oil companies with a top quality line of lubricants. Total Lubricants has a full product line from passenger cars, motorcycle, heavy industrial equipment, mining, trucking, agriculture, and manufacturing machines and vehicles. Total Lubricants, winning championships in motorsports, including Formula One and World Rally Championships. Total Lubricants are available at all Rubis service stations, leading automotive shops, and distributed by Huggins.
The government intends to review and implement national food and nutritional policies in 2023, as well as review climate-smart initiatives. Sherry-Ann Blackman-Stephen has this report.
If only 10% of our imported produce is replaced by local, there would be an overall saving of at least $26 to $30 million each year.
Agriculture Minister Senator Adrian Thomas as he delivered his address to mark World Food Day 2022. Celebrations take place on Friday at the Carnage, where all locally produced agricultural products will be on full display from 10 a.m. This year's activities are being celebrated under the theme Leave No One Behind, which champions the fight to end world hunger. Minister Thomas said the theme was specially chosen for this year in light of the the COVID-19 pandemic, the war between Russia and Ukraine, and other international tensions, global warming, and the constant rises in food prices, which continue to have a negative effect on global food and nutrition security. Grenada is no exception to the negative fallout from these issues.
In the year immediately prior to the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, our food input bill amounted to $259 million, while we exported just over $79 million. There is a great imbalance between our imports and exports. This makes us highly susceptible to the impact of global activities on our food and nutrition security, and have been experiencing firsthand the negative impacts of the rising cost of food and fuel.
Minister Thomas invites Grenadians to join government's transformational agenda for the agricultural sector by increasing agriculture production.
I urge everyone to cultivate a kitchen, a backyard garden, and for our commercial farmers to adopt more sustainable agricultural practices, including the use of climate smart, modernized agricultural farming methods, and information, communication, and technology.
He outlines government's policy plans for the agriculture sector for 2023, which is hoped will enhance food and nutrition security, attracting the youth to agriculture to alleviate unemployment and stimulate the rural economy.
This policy aims to promote sustainable food availability, food accessibility, food utilization, nutrition adequacy, and stability of food supplies for all through integrated and well-coordinated multi-sectoral initiatives at all levels of the government, and through the active involvement of civil society and the private sector. The ministry is also reviewing the climate smart agricultural initiatives to ensure the agricultural sector works towards becoming climate resilient.
With the involvement of all in increasing agriculture production, farmers and fisherfolk and other stakeholders' livelihoods will be enhanced. In so doing, food and nutrition security will be strengthened. According to Minister Thomas, government has selected agriculture as one of the leading sectors to contribute to the sustainable development, prosperity, health, and wellness of our people. Cherry and Blackburn Stephen, GBN News.
Agriculture Senator Roderick St. Clair, though welcoming some of the initiatives being supported under the Supplementary Appropriations Act that's been recently passed, expressed grave concern for the lack of priority for predial larceny. Senator St. Clair noted that while allocations are being made for new recruits and uniforms for the RGPF, predial larceny is not being addressed.
And while this is good, by the time these recruits finish training in the next 6 to 8 months, the money that we even invest in for this year might be lost many times by our farmers. And so I say this to say that when you look at all the budget and all the balance of payment at the end of the year, it's projected to be a loss of, I think, $1.5 million. So meaning that in the scheme of $1 billion budget, that is minuscule. And I believe that some consideration could have been given. Because when you listen, almost everything is about this predial larceny.
The agriculture senator appealed to government for funds to be sourced before year end, as well as a review of the structure of the RGPF to seriously tackle predial larceny.
Because we have lost significant number of recruits, predial larceny task force officers. See, I get confused sometimes. To the police. Because I will tell you, Madam President, don't be surprised that at least 25% or 30% of the current predial larceny task force members might apply to go in the same training to be a police officer, such that the benefits, the pension, and all of those things can be guaranteed as a police officer. So I've been saying over and over and you cannot do it right now in the supplemental. But we need to have a restructuring of the police force such that, as in Trinidad and in Jamaica, the pre-delicing task force, they are regular officers from a regular unit where we could really act and protect our farmers from the losses that they continue to suffer.
Digicel Grenada is celebrating 19 years of operation in Grenada, and all of its customers can win prizes for the entire month of October. You'll hear more about this from Rena Pierre-Thomas.
19 Digicel customers who did a transaction at the various Digicel stores on Monday had an opportunity to win various prizes as the network celebrated its 19th anniversary. The grand prize of $1,900 was given to the 19th customer who purchased at the Spiceland Mall store on Monday.
19, you ain't shot nothing. There we go. There we go. One little baby, two little baby, three little baby, 4! Congratulations to you. So $1,900 for the 19th customer here at all the other stores. Congratulations to you. Yes, I look at CQ go. Okay, so I have a question for you. What's the first thing you're going to do with that money? What's the first spend you're going to spend? I'm going to save that money. Okay, well, okay, cool. Something in my life. First time you win something in your life?
Candice Smith, commercial manager at Digicel, says customers can win for the entire month of October.
We do have prizes given away today. From number 1 to 18 customer, you actually get different prizes. The main prizes is for our 19 customer, who's going to get a cash prize of $1,900. So, you know, it's exciting today. We want to keep the momentum up because for the full month, we are going to have different prizes, a lot of different plans available. And they can do a 7-day for $35. And once they activate, they're entitled to win prizes. We have tickets giveaway. We also have vouchers for the supermarket, you know, so a lot of different prizes.
Its general manager of Digicel, Mrs. Marlene Williams, spoke of the 4 pillars that the phone network has laid its foundation on and how it benefits Grenadians.
With over 2 decades of giving back, the Digicel Foundation focuses on 4 pillars of strength, which are education, community development, special needs, and entrepreneurship. By activating these pillars, we sow seeds of courage, quality of life, access to education, and self-reliance, creating sustainability through technology and experiences that make a difference.
Customers who did not win any prizes at the store were able to walk away with small tokens and a cupcake treat from Digicel. For GBN News, I am Rena Pierre-Thomas reporting.
MegaFest 2022 Gospel Explosion is finally here. Join the youth of the Grenada Conference of Seventh-day Adventists under the green and white tent at Progress Park in St. Andrews from Sunday, October 9th to the 29th at 7 p.m. and continuing nightly for an electrifying evangelistic experience like no other. Come hear the ever-exhilarating Pastor Oliver Scott shatter the kingdom of darkness with thundering messages from the Word of God. If you ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need Him now. Come find hope in the midst of your pain. See you there.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via Superb Service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
right, viewers and listeners, welcome back to this segment of Good Morning Grenada. It's 11 minutes after 7 o'clock. And as hinted to you this morning, I told you that I will be having a guest with me this morning via our Zoom platform. And we'll be talking the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange. And to discuss that with me this morning, I've got two wonderful ladies on my Zoom platform. Miss Alana Joseph, she is the Executive Manager of Wealth Management and Financial Services at the Grenada Cooperative Bank. And also, I hope I pronounced the name correctly, Yoluka Amoni Brown, right? Did I have that right?
Oh, it's very close. It's Yuluka.
Yuluka. Okay, right. Thanks. Good. And she is the Business Development Executive at the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange. Ladies, good morning and welcome to Good Morning Grenada.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. I think you all should team up and do a song together. You all sound very harmonious. Good. Lovely. All right. I am going to start with Miss Alana Joseph, right? Alana is the Executive Manager for Wealth Management and Financial Services at the Grenada Cooperative Bank. All right. Good morning again. And tell us, what does your portfolio entail?
Okay. Good morning, and thanks for having us. As you mentioned, I'm the Executive Manager, Wealth Management and Financial Services. My department is really responsible for wealth management, wealth creation, and assisting individuals in pursuing wealth creation opportunities on the Eastern Caribbean securities market, as well as providing the other non-traditional financial services. We are creative on that side, looking at products and services that the market needs at this time, and creating solutions for those needs. But primarily, as I mentioned, the wealth management options that potential investors are looking to pursue, as well as educating the market, building up that confidence, that education, that investment culture in Grenada. That's what really my portfolio entails at the bank.
Okay, thank you very much. And Ms. Brown, looking at your background, I realize you're not in Co-op Bank, so that means you're not in Grenada.
No, that's correct.
All right, that's correct.
I was in Grenada last week, so...
I thought I saw you.
It was a pleasure being there, although it was for a short stint, too short a stint.
Okay, I thought I saw you somewhere. I can't remember. All right, so you are the Business Development Executive at the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange. What does that portfolio entail? What is the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange all about?
Yes, perhaps I'll start with there. So, first, just letting you know that tomorrow, the 19th of October, actually will mark the 21 years since we're in operation. 19th of October 2001 marked the launch of the first organized regional securities market across 8 member countries of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. And it was established with the enactment of the Common Securities Act, the Eastern Caribbean Securities Act of 2001. That date also marked the launch of the exchange where I work, the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange, which is a fully electronic securities exchange on which securities are traded. So the ECSC, which is the acronym for Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange, facilitates the buying and selling of financial products, including corporate stocks and bonds and government securities. And we are licensed under the same Securities Act I mentioned, the Securities Act of 2001. Also, just to mention too, that date also marked the establishment of a single regional regulator. So for those 8 countries and for the Eastern Caribbean Securities Market, we established the Eastern Caribbean Securities Regulatory Commission. The Commission is an independent and autonomous regulatory body within which powers under the same Securities Act are vested. So the Commission, as per the legislative requirements, exists to protect investors from unfair, improper and fraudulent practices, also to foster fair, efficient and transparent securities market, and promotes financial stability and development of the securities market. And in terms of where Lana fits in, we also, as part of the infrastructure for the Eastern Caribbean securities market, we have intermediaries, which are firms licensed under the Securities Act to act as a broker dealer. And so right in Grenada, there is a licensed broker dealer, Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, and Lana is representing that bank. So we're here essentially to talk about the market, the fact that we'll be celebrating 21 years, and we want to encourage more persons to utilize the market.
Okay, all right, I'll come back to you. Now, Miss Alana, from a Grenadian standpoint, what sort of response have your department been getting from the general public as it relates to, you said, searching for indigenous ways of getting investments and so forth? We know, I don't know if that has changed in recent times, but in the not too distant past, it was said that Grenada had the highest savings on reserves in the Eastern Caribbean or on the Eastern Caribbean financial markets. But in terms of investment, it is said that Grenadians like to see their monies in the cold room and not necessarily invest. Has that changed?
I wouldn't say that it has drastically. I think our culture has been one that, we have not really been exposed to the idea of investments, even from an early age, from the school level, even as young adults. It's not a conversation that we have. So the concept of investment, I think, is still young. We're still at the early stages. And Grenada Cooperative Bank has seen the need to bring our population into that space. And hence the launch of my department. We got our broker-dealer license since 2015, and our department was launched formally to the public in 2017. Since then, we have seen a lot of business, but the traction we need to see, we still have not seen it as yet, and I really believe it's because of the investment education in our space. There are opportunities on the market, yes. A bank deposit is considered safe. And we have grown with that mentality. It's easy to put your money in the bank. But when you look at the returns sometimes, especially in a very competitive financial market, the returns you get on your money, is it really worth it? And are there other opportunities you can pursue to have your money grow for you while it's still safe in some sense? So I think, it's a lot of education is still needed to get us to the space where investment is commonplace in our household, where as soon as you save along with doing investments. And you could do both. You would have to, of course, have a savings for emergencies and for certain life responsibilities, but you would invest the funds that you can, I wouldn't say funds that you can afford to lose, let's call it that, just because there's some risk attached to investment. But, it's an opportunity to grow your money, grow your wealth, start creating generational wealth. Now that our people, we're in a different space, a different time. Unlike back in the days when it was the plantation stories. So we have an opportunity now to create wealth.
Okay, now, having said that, what else? I know this is the lack of financial education, if you want to use that terminology. I don't think that's the only hindrance to people investing. What are some of the other hindrances? I mean, we now accept the fact that the world is a global village. So what happens in Saudi Arabia would affect us, whether it's by news, you hear that on the news, and you get timid by it or so forth. What are some of the other distractions or deterrences that you think are there?
Well, as I mentioned, the primary one is the education. Secondly, I would say fair and past experience. Fair in terms of, it's something that seems unknown, what would happen in the future, the anxieties that comes with that. And as you mentioned, things that happen in the media somehow, cause some anxiety as to, it's always seeming like a doom and gloom and, the worst would happen. So there's that type of fear. And then there's also past experience. I can't have this conversation and not mention some of the failed investment experiences we have had before. And some people are still recovering from those. And really, those were due to improper structures in place at the time. There were probably not the right legislation. There wasn't the policing and monitoring as necessary. So some people still feel when you hear investment, it always seems as if it's a scheme or fraud. So they have this, this fear and apprehension in moving forward. And I think that's one of the biggest contributors to probably the resistance we see.
So having said that, is it safe now for me to say that the Grenada Cooperative Bank will sort of spearhead an initiative into the general rearranging of that level of ignorance as it relates to investment? I would love to see, some television programs, radio programs getting people, because it's impossible for wealth creation without investment in this day and age. All right, the interest that is paid on your deposit accounts, you can't accumulate that much. Okay, so I'm going back to Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown, having heard Ms. Alana, the ECSC, how does it interface with these initiatives in terms of from a security standpoint?
Okay, well, from a security standpoint, that's really the commission, the regulatory commission. We don't have a representative here today, so they're the ones that oversee the market, and they also they have the powers to effect some of the legislation. So if persons are doing practices, for example, certain businesses are not licensed, and so there's recourse as it relates to the Securities Exchange and what the commission provides for that. In terms of the exchange, we are here to provide that platform, and we have that interface with the brokers and relationship with the brokers, and we support the brokers in the education initiatives. So that is something that Alana and I have discussed, that we need to do more, as you indicate, outreach in the community, so persons have an understanding of the process, how easy the process is. They have an understanding that we have a structure in place, so it's not just the corporates and the entities listed on the securities. There are certain stipulations that they have to be listed. They have information that they have to impart. There's prospectus that they have to prepare so that the investors are aware of what they're getting into, etc. And of course, we want to encourage a sort of a change in culture, because typically we do have persons investing, but they sort of buy and hold. They don't trade, and that is one of the things we'd like to encourage trading, because of course there will be certain persons who may, depending on what their investment goals are, it may be better for them to buy and hold. But there are quite a few persons, because they want to grow their wealth and they're a little more not risk averse, but risk tolerant, then you can also look at the market, see what's happening, and trade. They want to buy and sell. So they want to buy low, sell high, so that they can grow their money. And so those opportunities are there, but we do have a culture of buy and hold. And so a lot of persons are not selling the securities that they hold. And so all of these things we need to engage and discuss. We're hoping as well to bring some interesting things into the schools. So we start from young, because we really don't have those types of education and programs in the schools, and we do need to start at a young level so people understand and encouraged to trade in a responsible way. And so these are things that the Securities Exchange will continue to support the brokers in doing. The brokers are the ones on the ground, and we are here to support and encourage, and we also provide information to the public as well through our website, through our social media pages. So any information that you want about the markets, about the securities listed, about the licensed brokers, you can find on our website, ecsconline.com. And so we provide information to the market as well.
Okay, so, okay, go right ahead.
No, I was just going to say, apart from, based on the question you asked, apart from the collaborations with the exchange, the bank sees it as its corporate social responsibility to educate our population. So we have a mandate as the Grenada Cooperative Bank to pursue the investment education opportunities in Grenada. We have started what we have been doing cottage meetings more so. I think once we had a major event, but coming 2023, 2024, you would hear and see more of us as we are more strategic about the investment education in Grenada.
Okay. I want to come back to Ms. Brown a bit. If you look at it from a regional perspective, are there countries that are less timid as it relates to investing? For example, let's say the bigger territories.
Well, typically we find that because currently we don't have broker dealers domiciled in each of the 8 territories. We have 6 broker dealers licensed at the moment. So we typically find that the countries where we have broker dealers, they generally invest more. We have seen especially in terms of interaction with the ECSC and interest, that there are 1 or 2 countries, and some of them are more populated, as you indicated, that seem to be interested and more savvy, and so we're really trying to see how we can get a broker-dealer license there. Not that they can't use any of the broker-dealers, so just to let persons know that even though the broker-dealer is not domiciled in your country, doesn't mean that, for example, anybody outside of Grenada can still contact Grenada Cooperative Bank to assist with investing on the market. So you don't have to be domiciled, but obviously it's easier when you have a relationship with an entity in your country to be able to go to that, to develop that relationship, go to the broker, have these conversations, because they're also licensed to provide financial advice. So it will be better for us, and that's something that the exchange is working assiduously to do, to encourage and to see how we can get more brokers licensed. But we do typically see some of the larger countries, and even 1 or 2 who don't have brokers, have a keen interest based on the engagements and queries that we get at the exchange. But yes, it seems to be related to population, but it also seems to be related to where we have the brokers domiciled, which makes sense because the brokers most likely go out and provide information to the public, and so they are a little more knowledgeable and they can build relationships with the brokers.
Okay, Ms. Joseph, I'd like to give you some kudos to the Grenada Cooperative Bank on achieving this broker status. All right, another first for Coop Bank, right?
Thank you.
Good. Let me ask this: an ordinary layman works hard, saves some money, so he has some things in reserve. However, there is something that he thinks can give some good returns on investment, but he doesn't have enough to get to that. What mechanism does Coop Bank have in place for helping someone like that?
Okay, so as a licensed broker dealer, we also have licensed representatives that work with us within the bank. Of course, the conversation about investment is not a fly-by-night conversation. It's also about relationship. So as a broker-dealer, just to give some background, we facilitate trading of securities on the market. So we act as the intermediary between the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange and the investor. Any investor wanting to do any activity on the Eastern Caribbean securities market must do so through a licensed broker-dealer, right? So as the intermediary, we have an obligation to have a conversation, understand our customer. It's not just about what you see on the market or what is there to invest in. The first conversation is understanding your risk tolerance, your risk appetite. You cannot have investment without a conversation about risk and the risk management tactics you would implement because there is risk attached to investment. So we first have a conversation about your risk appetite, what are your plans, what are your investment goals, what you're trying to achieve, and coming out of that, we can come up with a plan of what you can do based on what is available on the market. Now that's from the investor side, but we also provide services to issuers, so persons who want to raise capital, persons who are looking for money, an alternative to a loan. You can come on the market, Eastern Caribbean securities market. You prepare a prospectus and offer you can offer either equities, so a share in your company, or you can also raise debt through a corporate bond or corporate note. So we facilitate those arrangements as well from the two sides of the deal, from the investor side and from the issuer side. So a simple person, as you, a layman, as you put it, coming to the bank, it's very easy. As I mentioned, we establish a brokerage relationship, because you must have a relationship with a broker. We understand your risk appetite, your risk profile, your investment goals. We look at the opportunities and come up with a plan as to how you can pursue those opportunities on the market. Okay, so could you, either of you, can you sort of highlight some of how should I put it? Some of the things that people are investing in from our regional standpoint. What are some of the investment opportunities that are there that are lucrative? So generally on the market right now, we have equity securities, which are really shares. And then you have debt instruments or fixed income instruments, which are your bonds, your treasury bills, and your treasury notes, right? The equities, as I mentioned, you get an ownership in a company. So currently, there are 14 listed companies on the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange, and anyone can purchase shares in those companies based on the closing price per share listed on the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange. On the debt side, you can choose to invest in a treasury bill, a treasury note, or a bond, most of which are issued by regional governments. So a lot of the governments in the region raise funds on the Eastern Caribbean securities market. Well, there's a part of the market called the regional government securities market, where governments alone issue securities there, and there's a lot of demand there for those instruments. And generally, governments would start off with a maximum rate of sometimes 6%, 5%, 4%. But of course, that depends on demand and supply. So the rates would vary. The closing rates of those instruments vary on the demand in the market for those instruments. So I can't give you a fixed rate in terms of what's the going rates, but the rates can vary based on the demand at the time for those instruments. You also have, there's an institution, the Eastern Caribbean Home Mortgage Bank, who offers a corporate note. So you can invest, you can lend them money, so it's kind of a debt. You can lend them money, you get interest payments at intervals, and you get back your principal at the maturity date. So you have those options, and they range in terms of tenure from as low as 90 days. You have, in terms of treasury bills, you have 180 days, 365 days, and then you have longer term investment instruments. You could go 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, generally on the market. So generally, those are the instruments on the market. Pretty vanilla, but still you get a chance to make some return on those instruments. And the markets currently, the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange, as well as the Eastern Caribbean Securities Regulatory Commission, are working on providing more creative solutions for investors. So we're also looking at digital asset trading, as well as equity crowdfunding options for small and medium-sized enterprises. So those are things to come in the not-too-distant future, which we would also, as the broker, Grenada Cooperative Bank, we would facilitate. But for now, we have as I mentioned, the kind of vanilla instruments. Okay. I have a question for Ms. Brown, but before we do that, we have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Yes, hello, good morning, Innocent, and good morning to your two people there. Now, I just want to ask a question because this topic is concerning something that I invested in about 15 years ago. It's some shares in cable and wireless telephone company that the former administration had sold in 2008. Now, we had invested in these shares, and it's like, I don't know if we bought a cat in a bag. And up till now, we cannot get any financial report, nothing at all, no kind of information from no one at all. So I don't know if these people can clarify something for us, please, because a lot of Grenadians are hurting. 15 years now, and the monies are tied up, and we don't know what's happening to our monies. So we'd really like to get some answers. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, caller. Ladies?
Okay, well, I would suggest you send your query to info@ecsconline.com. Let us know exactly what your query is, and then we can then investigate and let you know. But the companies on the exchange, they provide annual reports every year. So that is the certain stipulations. And so once you've invested in the securities, you should receive your reports as usual, and they're also published on the exchange and as well on the company's website, because these are public companies. So you should have that information, but send us your queries at exactly what details that you would like, and then our operations department can look into it and respond.
Okay, we have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Could you turn off your radio or TV, please?
Yes, good morning.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm just calling to support the last caller. He is absolutely correct. This is a problem that since 2008, persons who have invested in shares have not received 1 cent. And it's a real problem. Nobody speaks about it. I don't know what is happening, but it's something that needs to be investigated strongly. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you, caller.
Quick question. So is it shares on the exchange, or because there are companies that you can also purchase shares off the exchange? So is it shares that you purchased through the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange? Is it still there?
Well, I think I think that is, and that's part of the experience I was speaking of when you asked the conversation in terms of some of the negative experience some shareholders might have. I think this is a peculiar situation where this was a private sale, where the government divested some of its shares, sold its shares to the public. Following that sale, I don't believe there has been an annual general meeting, nor has there been any communication to the shareholders, as the shareholder mentioned, payment of dividends, and we know that there has been a lot of restructuring of cable and wireless. This is a matter that has to be taken up with the Eastern Caribbean Securities Regulatory Commission, since it is an investment product that has been offered on the market, though not listed on the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange. But I would recommend to the investors that these queries, and as the broker, all that I can do is channel those concerns to the Eastern Caribbean Securities Regulatory Commission, because they are the ones with the ammunition to really pursue this problem and find a solution.
Okay, we have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Yes, sir. Good morning. In the beginning of this program with the ladies, I heard one of them mention about your investment, and she mentioned what you could afford to lose. Should we enter into those transactions with that mindset that we are going to lose everything, anything, a percentage? What's the risk? How high is the risk that you can lose your money? Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank you for that question. And it was not my intention to instill any fear, but I cannot have an investment conversation without bringing to light the fact that there is risk with investments. Any investment you pursue, there is a risk that you may not collect all that you expect for whatever reason. Something can go wrong with the issuer. Something can go wrong globally. So I didn't want to not mention that fact. And generally, when you have a conversation about investment, that's how you look at it. It's not something that you depend on to survive. It's not something that you need to pay your bills next month. Because of that risk factor that is attached to investments, it should be money that you don't depend on or think about. You can put it aside and not worry about it. And that's what I was trying to get to. It's because there is a risk element attached to it, you need to have that always in your mind. You can never go into investment and not consider the risk attached to it. And that is a conversation as a broker we would have with the client.
Okay, that's a very important point. People need to know what they're getting into, all the pros and the cons of it, so that when an eventuality occurs, they are not caught with their guards down. All right, so they're exposed. Do you think that this level of, for example, the two previous callers, all right, invested in, in this business, do you think this is one of the causes for the level of timidity that people are finding?
Definitely. And I think another, I don't think that shareholders or investors understand their power as well. So a lot of us, we we succumb to the demise of, for instance, an issuer treating us like this without any communication, any dividends, anything at all, and we don't take action, we should come together as investors, shareholders, and bring the matter to the Eastern Caribbean Securities Regulatory Commission to have some action taking place, even to the government, taking place to address this matter. But, generally we complain individually, and therefore really and truly the power is in the numbers in these matters. So we really need shareholders to take the matters to the Eastern Caribbean Securities Regulatory Commission and to be more vocal about it as well.
Ms. Brown, the ECSE is about to celebrate 21 years? It's celebrating 21 years. What would you say from your organization's standpoint are some of the major accomplishments thus far, and where do you see the ECSE going in the foreseeable future?
Okay, well, some of our major accomplishments is that we have 14 companies listed on the exchange. We also have developed the regional government securities market, and we have quite a lot of activity, the government's auction throughout the year. And so we obviously have provided a platform for businesses as well as governments to raise capital, because that's one of the benefits of an exchange. You allow for entities to be able to come to the market to raise capital. We also have provided that platform, and our platform has always been top-notch in terms of we turn around T+1, which is most of the other exchanges T+3 and so forth in terms of turnaround time for trading. And so we've started on a platform in terms of advanced platform, and we continue to make advances as mentioned by Alana in terms of we're looking at now where we have entered an arrangement with a fintech company in Canada to also provide digital assets platform. There are quite a few products that are coming to market, I understand, through the commission, where and we have been engaged with a number of entities to try and diversify some of the products. So we should be seeing soon mutual funds coming on board, and that will also geared toward the smaller investor, so pooled investment, etc. And overall, I think what we do need to do more of, it's obvious, is the education and awareness, and we are partnering with the brokers on that front, because the brokers are the ones who have that relationship with the investors and the issuers. We're trying to partner to see how we can get more information out there so that the investors feel more comfortable, because we do have a very strong infrastructure in terms of the market, in terms of how it's set up. The commission is also making some changes to the securities legislation, because it's been 21 years, so obviously things are changed in the market, and so we're updating our securities legislation to ensure that it's still sound, but also allows for more diversity in products on the market, and to allow for more participation of smaller entities on the market. So these are things that we are progressing in collaboration with the Commission and the broker-dealers to ensure that persons are educated. Yes, there is a risk, but and you can look at the market reports. Historically, we have done extremely well. We haven't had any issues on the market as a securities exchange. Now, there was mention of a particular private listing that was of a concern to Grenadians there, and so that's something, as Alana mentioned, and she probably could channel it. We can channel it as well to the Commission. Through our email address info@ecseonline.com, or you can go directly to the Commission's website. I think it's www.ecin.com, Alana. And you can reach out and contact them there, because the Commission, as I have laid out, they also have to protect. Part of their mandate is to protect the investor, and they have enforceable powers under the legislation. So if there are issues related to a particular securities purchase, then you can reach out to them, let them know the details, and they can then follow up and see what they can do to address the matter. there is some recourse for the investor in that regard.
Okay, final question to you, Ms. Joseph, and I know this is a question that prospective investors would have wanted me to ask, and it relates to securities, not the exchange, but investment securities. We know the insurance companies, most of the locals, they reinsure with Lloyd's of London and so forth. Someone is coming to invest. Okay, we know that there will be risk. There are risks involved. But is there any insurance that can cover that investment in the eventuality that something goes wrong?
No, not at this time that I can think of, but as the broker, because that's not, of course, that's a conversation we can have and look at pursuing. But as a broker, what we do is look at how you can diversify or manage the risk that you are onboarding. So risk is really the risk is measured with the reward you attract. So the higher the reward, it is anticipated that it is the higher the risk. So of course you would have to have a balanced portfolio of investments with high risk, low risk to manage the risk. Not only looking at the returns, but also managing the sectors or the instruments you invest in to manage the risk. So from a broker point of view, my solution for managing risk is really diversification. And we diversify based on the instruments that you are investing in your portfolio. Even if it also means having a reserve or building a reserve while you are investing. That's some of the strategies that we use. But in terms of insurance per se, that is a separate conversation that is out of my field. So you can actually pursue with an insurance company. But as I said, my strategy really is through diversification.
Okay. We've exhausted our time, but so I'll give you 30 seconds to wrap up, Ms. Joseph, and then I'll come to Ms. Brown.
Okay, so I just want to say to the Grenadian population and anybody listening or viewing, to remind them that the Grenada Cooperative Bank is here to help you on your wealth creation journey. We're here to give advice. We're here to have a conversation. All you need to do is visit us at wealthmanagement@grenadacoopbank.com. That's the website. Or you can call us at 440-2111, extension 6533. Start a conversation. Even if you don't have to start big, you can start small. You can look at options on the market. You don't have to rush it as well. But please consider the opportunities on the market to start creating wealth for yourself and for your family, for your future generations.
I'll just ask one question before I come to Ms. Brown. From a Grenadian perspective, I don't expect you to give me names, but have you seen any success stories from people who would have come to Co-op Bank and said, I want to invest, and eventually have created wealth?
Definitely.
So there are success stories.
I've had situations where people were very apprehensive and they didn't want to start, and they started very small. And when they understand, from starting very small and they understand how it works, they are now professionals at it, where, as soon as an investment comes on, they're eager to get into it. So there are several success stories, as well as, individuals as well as of institutions, using the opportunities on the market. Because when you sometimes look at the returns you get at the bank, it may not add up to much, because the banking landscape, the financial landscape is so competitive that you have to look for other ways to grow your wealth. A lot of people say, well, we'll just use this US stock market, but there are other complications to that as well. So why not pursue the opportunities here on our regional markets, and we here as the broker dealer to help you do that.
Having said that, Ms. Joseph, you're actually speaking to your next perspective, right? Okay. Ms. Brown, wrapping up.
Yes, I just want to say for persons who also want to, because as part of the 21st anniversary, we'll be airing a panel discussion where we have more conversation about these topics, and so you'll get a lot more information about the exchange, about investing. I think, Alana, correct me if I'm wrong, but the panel discussion is due to be aired on the 20th of October on Grenada Broadcasting Network at 8 p.m.
Correct.
So I'm encouraging persons to tune into that. We will continue to work with Grenada Co-op Bank and all of our or intermediaries to see how we can do more programs like these and to have more engagements with the public. I also want to encourage persons to check out the ECSC website as well as our social media pages. There's quite a lot of information that we send through, including we have public forums and webinars that we do online as well. So check out www.ecsconline.com. You could check and see the securities are listed. You could look at the market reports. There's also a facts tab where you can get responses to common questions, investors or issuers, because we also encourage businesses to list that may have. You can look at those and just follow the pages so you get the information and get a little more insight, as well as, of course, it's very important to have that personal relationship with your broker. Sit down. You can start anytime. All you have to do is to be 18 years old. You can come and have a conversation, get your appetite wet, even if you don't start right away. Get a sense of what is involved, and grow your wealth. I mean, it's important. Yes, saving is important to put aside for a rainy day, but it's also important we work hard for our money. We want to be able to see our money grow so that we can, we can retire early and have a wonderful life.
Enjoy the life.
So, yeah, exactly.
Good. Okay, well, ladies, I must confess that time, and we will agree to this. Time really flies when we're having fun, because I'm excited here, and I know quite a number of our listeners and viewers are very excited. So I expect an influx of visitations coming to you, Miss Joseph, and I want to say thanks also to Miss Yuluka Amoni Brown. I get the name right this time. Good. And I do hope that we have future engagements, because this is, in my opinion, I think this is the time for people to invest. You don't need to wait for a pension from government. Create your own retirement fund, isn't it?
Correct.
That's the idea. So once again, I do expect that we would have future engagements like these, and I look forward to them, and I want you both to have yourselves a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, and same to you.
God bless. All right, folks, I have been talking there with Miss Alana Joseph. She is the Executive Manager of the Wealth Management and Financial Services at the Grenada Cooperative Bank, and also Miss Yuluka Amoni Brown. She is the Business Development Executive at the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange. I do hope that you learned or you heard something here today that will stimulate you and encourage you to go out and just inquire, as I said, inquire about it and get your appetite wet, stimulate yourself, and you might just make it, get some investments on the regional securities market. Folks, we take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more after these messages. Don't you go.
It's Soca Parang Indie Basket, the Spice Basket. Saturday, 5th November, featuring from Trinidad, Grunta, Baron, Marcia Miranda.
Darling, look, it's Christmas, a special time of year.
From Grenada, Carriacou String Band, Hassan Leke and Steve Theodore. Get your early bird ticket for $60 after you pay $80 and more at the door. And are available at Chucky's Bar, Brendan on the Terminal, Grenada Optical in St. George's, Gittins Pharmacy Granville, Gittins Healthcare Grandance, Chai's Bar St. Mark's, Nick and Bites Quav, St. David's Pharmacy, Calico Shopping Center, Main Street, Sotiers. It's another Chucky's promotion.
The National Insurance Scheme continues to make it easy to access our services using the MyNIS online platform. Now we're introducing a new feature that allows you to submit your benefit claims from the convenience of your smart devices. No paper, no hassle. All you have to do is log in to my.nisgrenada.org. Select claims, fill out the relevant information, and click submit. We'll take it from there. It's that simple and that easy. Submit a claim from the comfort of your home as you rest and recuperate. Enjoy the convenience of faster claim processing and monitor the status of your claim every step of the way. We are excited to introduce this new feature to better serve you. NIS is changing the game and the way you make your claim. Access anywhere and anytime with MyNIS Online.
level of convenience and comfort awaits you when you shop at Rise and Shine Supermarket and Hardware Supplies, Griffin Lane, Grenville. Convenient, because we are open Sunday to Sunday. We're even at your service on public holidays. Comfort, because we are easily accessible to the physically challenged. Free Wi-Fi is available while you shop, and bags come at no charge. Everyday low prices and excellent customer care. Adequate parking available. We supply everything you can possibly think of. Family and home supplies, fresh meat, vegetables, and personal care products. All brands of cooking gas at affordable prices. You can send in your order, have it pulled, or pick up express.
MegaFest 2022 Gospel Explosion is finally here. Join the youth of the Grenada Conference of Seventh-day Adventists under the green and white tent at Progress Park in St. Andrews from Sunday, October 9th to the 29th at 7 p.m. and continuing nightly for an electrifying evangelistic experience like no other. Come hear the ever-exhilarating Pastor Oliver Scott shatter the kingdom of darkness with thundering messages from the Word of God. If you ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need Him now. Come find hope in the midst of your pain. See you there.
Do more with your new GUT Credit Union Visa debit card, which gives you access to your cash at any Connex or Visa certified ATMs locally and internationally. Make your payments with a tap of your card using the contactless feature and have the freedom to make purchases locally, online, or overseas whenever you travel, anywhere Visa is accepted. Experience the enhanced security fraud protection through the Visa chip technology. If you don't have your new GUT Credit Union Visa International debit card, speak to any one of our representatives today to do more. Your new GUT Credit Union Visa International debit card, a smarter way to access your cash. More smart, more secure.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
All right, welcome back, viewers and listeners. Unfortunately, we've exhausted our time at this segment, but I just want to thank those of you who participated. There are some things that I would have liked to touch on this morning. For example, as part of fulfilling another of its campaign promises, the NDC administration has now put together a committee to look at the minimum wage. Right, a minimum wage board has been established. I would have liked to look at that. Maybe, hopefully tomorrow, please God, we can touch on this. But it's just about time for us to wrap up here as we head on to the BBC for that bulletin of news. It's 30 seconds away from 8 o'clock. Once again, thank you for being a part of the program this morning. Should the good Lord spare our lives, we'll do it again tomorrow, same time and same frequency. Until then, see you on the flip side of 8. Bye-bye.